anyone else tired of always doing the same boring assignments? What if I were able to tell you there was a way to fix this? Block schedules offer a unique alternative for school scheduling instead of using traditional schedules. Today I will be discussing with you guys the problem with our school's educational, which is traditional schedules. Now, the solution that I think that will be best for this problem is to implement block schedules, which will help we'll get into that later actually. And then finally, I'll be talking about the benefits of block schedules. Now, while I was conducting my research, at first I was a bit skeptical about block schedules just because they were foreign to me. But as I dug deeper, I was able to find that block schedules are actually a much better alternative. So if we could click to our first slide. So when I was conducting my research, I came across a study that showed that the US was ranked 17th in the United States. This is from the actual source page, but this is just a simpler version that basically explains that information so that you guys would be able to understand it. And it was crazy that the US was lagging so far behind. And so another thing that I found out was that an hour is wasted every day, according to D. Silver, who also produced this graph. He wrote the article, U.S. Academic Logs. Now, D. Silver said that an hour was wasted every day, and I did some calculations. So there's 5 days in a week, and so that'd be 5 hours every week. And we go to school 36 weeks every year. So that would turn out to be 128 hours of education that we're missing out on, just from transitioning in between periods and wasting time. Also, teachers don't have enough time for their prep classes to be prepared to teach their lesson the next day. With only 45 minutes of time, that's not enough. And you see with block schedules, they'd have over 90 minutes of time to go and do their period. Also, courses are not as in-depth due to only having 45 minutes each day. With 90 minutes, students can do more in-depth research, do projects, and go on field trips. Also, students are overworked. With 8 periods a day, teachers can assign them homework for every class and be expected to do it the next day. I noticed from personal experience, just when we were doing all our finals this last week, I have been working really hard, probably at least 2 hours of homework every night, and I still don't have enough time to study for all my classes. With the block schedule, it would make it much easier to study. Now today I'll be talking about the 2 most common types of block schedule, which is a 4x4 block schedule and an A and B block schedule. If we could go to the next slide, I'll show you how these work. So a 4x4 block schedule is what colleges go off normally. So practically, there's 4 classes that you pick, and they're semester long. And then the next semester you take another 4 classes. Now, generally you take 2 core classes like math and English, and then the other 2 you take electives, so that teachers then get a free period. The second one is A and B block schedule. Even though it says 4x8, it's A and B, just because 4 divided by 8 is 1/2, and that's why it makes it A and B. So A and B would be a simpler transition for schools to transition to, because they have 8 classes every day, but they alternate days. So on one day, you'll have 4 classes, and then the next day, you'll have another 4 different classes. And you'll take those year long instead of a semester. And then it's nice for the A and B because you'll have a 90-minute period of study time every 2 days. Finally, I will be discussing the benefits of block schedules. I'll be discussing why students get better block schedules and why teachers would benefit from block schedules. Now, students would benefit from block schedules because it has been scientifically proven by Cramwell that they retain more information when being able to study one subject for 90 minutes every other day. With block schedules, you'd also be able to do more labs and do more creative projects because you'd have 90 minutes every day to go and learn about your subject. Also, block schedules would benefit students because for classes such as band, choir, orchestra, you wouldn't waste 20, 15 minutes just getting your instruments out. So that would give you more time to go and practice. Let's see. For students, stress is also reduced. According to Glickman, who did a study, if we could go to our next slide, he shows that, this was directly from his website, this shows that traditionally schooling has an extremely high rate of stress at 27%, and with block schedules it's reduced to 13%. So even though there is still a lot of stress, it's reduced by almost half, which is pretty crazy. Glickman also, while conducting his study, went and I believe he conducted it on like 1,000 schools. He went and also noticed that, let's see, students form closer relationships with their teachers. Now, this would be beneficial for students so that they don't feel excluded or so that they don't get left behind as the teacher teaches the curriculum. Now I'll be talking about teachers and the benefits that they have. Teachers will go and have 90 minutes every day to prepare their lesson. They'll also be able to go and prepare more in-depth lessons, such as projects, labs, etc. Now that you have listened to me talk about the benefits, the problem, which was traditional schedules, and the solutions, which is block schedules, you should now go and be able to understand why block schedules would be more beneficial than traditional scheduling. I now prompt you guys to go out there and talk with your principals or any other teacher about why block schedules should be used instead of traditional schedules.